me to do it since you're doing that?
I'm good.
Imagine your mom comes home from work and she tells you that you and your family are going to take a vacation to Memphis, Tennessee to see some more family. Your first reaction is probably going to be, Mom, what in the world is there going to be to do in Memphis? Well, I'm going to tell you about just some of the countless beauties of the city. Quote, Memphis' most recent contribution to the ceaseless struggle of bettering human relations and improving life is the National Civil Rights Museum, built at the Lorraine Motel where Dr. King was assassinated. It is a shrine to the human spirit, to justice, sacrifice, courage, and peace, and an invaluable cultural and educational tool, end quote. That's from the article, History of Memphis, copyright City of Memphis, 2003 to 2010. I plan to inform you on the city of Memphis, Tennessee, because it is a charming city full of spunk, fun, and rock and roll. In this presentation, I will tell you about the history of Memphis, the Graceland Museum, and other attractions of the city. Memphis has a very action-packed and interesting history. Before any European settlers got to Memphis, it was controlled by Chickasaw Indians. The Indians were known as the Mound Builders because they built mounds that now overlook the Mississippi River by DeSoto Park, which is right outside of Memphis, Tennessee. Why would it be called DeSoto Park, you may ask? Well, the first European to view the river from Memphis was the Spaniard explorer Hernando de Soto, who crossed the Mississippi River near Memphis in 1541. According to the article, that same article, History of Memphis, it states that General President Andrew Jackson, General James Winchester, and Judge John Overton were considered the founders of Memphis. The city was surveyed and designed in 1890, which originally it was only 4 blocks, considering now it's very, very big. So now that you know some background information on the magnificent city of Memphis, I will focus on one main attraction of Memphis today. Graceland is one of the main points of focus in Memphis because it is the house of the old king, Elvis Presley. According to the article Graceland, found on worldlingo.com, it is the second most visited private home in America with over 600,000 visitors a year. You can only tour the rooms on the bottom floor. You can look at his jet that is named after his daughter, his racquetball court, his shooting range, and the jungle room. And you might be wondering what in the world is the jungle room. Well, I'm going to highlight 2 special rooms in the house. The jungle room was originally going to be a screened-in porch, but it ended up being the jungle room. It's loaded with exotic plants, animal prints, and floor-to-ceiling shag carpet. Totally 70s. The trophy room is walls display records, movie posters, old-time memorabilia of lipstick and shoes, even a 1950s Elvis doll. Among items, there are 3 Grammys Elvis won, Priscilla's wedding dress, Elvis's wedding tuxedo, Lisa Marie's toy chest and baby clothes and the famous Hall of Elvis's gold records and awards. So from the jungle room to the personal jet camped out in the backyard, Graceland is a very fascinating and important part of Memphis. But now I'm going to tell you other favorite sites to visit in this exquisite city. There are numerous tourist attractions in Memphis besides Graceland, and I'm going to inform you on a few. First is the National Civil Rights Museum, and like I said earlier, was the Lorraine Motel where Dr. King was assassinated. The National Civil Rights Museum is a very important part of Memphis also. And here is a quote from a reviewer on the museum. Quote, like many reviewers, I was deeply moved by my visit to this museum. Rosa Parks' bust, Martin Luther King's jail cell, the preserved or recreated motel room where he spent his last hours, they were all very powerful exhibits. Next is Beale Street. Beale Street was one of the first streets in Memphis. Today, it is known for its booming nightclubs, theaters, restaurants, stores, pawn shops, and hot music. Next, I'm going to tell you about the Rockabilly Hall of Fame. The Rockabilly Hall of Fame pays homage to the music of artists like Buddy Holly, Elvis Presley, and Bill Haley. It also has collections of videotaped interviews with the artists who created the music. So now that I have enlightened you on the city of Memphis by telling you its history, highlighting the Graceland Museum, and by pointing out other main attractions, you should be an expert on the area. So I'm going to ask you again to imagine your mom coming home from work and telling you that you're going on a trip to see Memphis. Now that you're better educated on just how lovely Memphis is, you should be as excited as ever to visit